After the war, there was little left in the tiny Dutch town of Ulst. The townspeople lived on cabbages and seed potatoes. They patched and repatched their worn, thin clothing, and they went without soap, milk, sugar, or new shoes. One spring morning, when the tulips bloomed thick and bright, Postman Klein Hunte pedaled his bicycle down the cobbled street. "Oh ho," he whispered, "I have a box for Katie, a box from America." "America?" exclaimed Katie. "Who would send me a box from America?" "The Children's Aid Society," replied the postman. "Children in America are collecting and mailing many hard-to-find items to the children of Holland, and you, miss, were very lucky to get one." Katie took the box. She rubbed her finger across the block letters that spelled USA. "The land of plenty," she whispered. Katie's mama came to stand behind her. "Open it," she urged. Peeling off the brown paper wrapping, Katie pushed back the flaps and called out, "A cake of soap!" "What a luxury," said Mama. "No more bathing in gritty homemade stuff for you." Katie pulled out the next item, "A pair of wool socks." "Now that is luxury," said Postman Klein Hunte. "Holland has become a sockless country since the war." He rolled up his leg pant to show his bare ankle. Katie dipped into the box again. Out came chocolate. Mama sniffed, then sighed. "I have not smelled chocolate in years." Klein Hunte smacked his lips. "I have not tasted chocolate in years." "Neither have I," added Katie. Her mouth watered as she looked from Mama's smiling face to Postman Klein Hunte's, and Katie made a decision. Quick, before she could change her mind, she broke the bar into pieces and passed them around. For several moments, the three savored the almost forgotten taste. Then Postman Klein Hunte pointed, "That box is not empty yet." Katie reached in and pulled out a letter. It read, "Dear Dutch friend, I hope the gifts brighten your day. Your American friend, Rosie Johnson, 123 Elm Street, Mayfield, Indiana, USA." The postman nodded. J. And Rosie's box brightened the day. And mine. "I'm going to tell her," decided Katie. "I'm going to send a letter to Rosie." "Dear American friend, thank you for the soap and the socks, but most of all for the chocolate. Sugar is not found in Holland these days, so anything sweet is precious. My mother and Postman Klein Hunte very much enjoyed it too. Your Dutch friend, Katie Van Steren." Weeks passed and summer came. Hot and bright, the townspeople of Ulst boiled cabbages, dug potatoes, and dreamed of meat and bread. One morning, while Katie and her mama pulled up their tulips, rubbed off the stems, and sorted the bulbs into bags, Postman Klein Hunte came pedaling down the street. "She has another one," he hollered. "Katie has another box from America." His shouts drew Mr. and Mrs. Deland from their 5 thin children from next door. Everyone gathered around as Katie eagerly opened this second, bigger box. "Johannes, look!" shrieked Mrs. Deland when the flaps were pulled back. "I am looking," gulped her husband, "but I am not believing my eyes." From the box, Katie pulled 4 bags of sugar and a letter from Rosie. "Dear Katie, no sugar. Yikes, that's so awful. Mother and I are sending you some. We included some for your postman, too. Your friend Rosie." "Sugar, sugar, sugar," said Postman Klein Hunte, grabbing the smallest Deland. He danced back to the toddlers to the top There's plenty to share, she said. Out! Sobbed Mrs. Deland, dabbing away tears from the corner of her apron. You were so kind. Thank you, Katie. Thank you. Then, as Postman Klein Hunte sang, the children danced and Mrs. Deland sniffled. Katie divided the sugar. Later, she wrote to Rosie. Dear friend Rosie, so many sweets. How can I ever thank you? I shared the sugar with the neighbors, Mr. and Mrs. Deland. They have 5 children who are skin and bone with little food in holiday. It is hard to keep anyone fed. Your gift has surely helped us. Your friend, Katie. Weeks passed and autumn came, rainy and gray. The townspeople of Ulst picked the last of their cabbages and potatoes. They lined their old coats with newspaper to keep out the cold air, and they worried about the coming winter. How will we survive without food or warm clothing? They asked each other. How will we live? Katie and her mama worried too, but as always they planted their tulip bulbs in the hardening ground and looked forward to the day the tulips would bloom. They were brushing dirt from their knees when Postman Klein Hunte came stumbling down the street. It's a big one, so big I cannot bring it on my bicycle. Ja, a big heavy box from America. His excited shouts drew Mr. Boss from his office window, Gans from the yard. They drew Mrs. Overveld and Schoolmaster Liu and all 7 of the Delands. Everyone crowded around as Katie dug into this 3rd bigger box from America. Wonder Bar, he shouted. Such generosity. There were cans of meat, boxes of powdered milk, bags of sugar, and a letter from Mercy. Dear Katie, jeepers, you'll never guess. Mother told her friend about your last letter, and they told their friends, and our doorbell just kept ringing. Send this to Katie. People kept saying, so we did. Hope this puts some fat on those Deland kids. Oh, it will, cried Mrs. Deland, and Katie made another decision. There is plenty to share, she said. Bless you, cried Miss Oosterveld. Amid kisses and hugs and heartfelt thank yous, Katie divided the food. And later, she wrote to Rosie. Dear Rosie, your box caused much excitement in Ulst. Everyone came to see what you and your kind townspeople had sent, and everyone left you with a share of your gifts. For a small time, it was like a party here. People stopped worrying about the holes in their shoes and the threadbare coats. They did not think of the long, cold winter ahead. You see, your friendship has not only filled our stomachs, it has lifted our spirits as well. Weeks passed, and winter roared in, snow-deep and bitter cold. The worst winter anyone could remember. The townspeople of Ulst layered whatever clothing they had. They huddled close to small fires, ate sparingly from almost empty cupboards, shivered and prayed. One dark morning, when Katie felt as frozen as the tulip bulbs buried beneath the snow, there came a pounding on the door. She opened it to find Postman Klein Hunte and the townspeople crowded onto the yard. What a delivery I have for you, whooped the postman. He pulled a sled stacked high with boxes straight into the house. So many, gasped Katie. But there are more, cried the postman, squeezing his way through the crowd. He returned with another box stack sled, and another, and still another. There was barely room for boxes and people, as Katy pushed back flaps and pulled out coats, mittens, socks, and shoes, scarves, hats, and sweaters. Cakes of soap, chocolate bars, and bags, cartons, and cans of soup, and cans of food. At the bottom of the very last box, there was a letter from Rosie. You won't believe what's happening here. Everyone, everywhere wants to send a box to you. The school organized a canned food drive. The church organized a clothes drive. Even the local businesses added items to the boxes. We hope there's enough here for all of your friends and neighbors. For several seconds, the townspeople of Ulst stood in speechless wonder. Then Katy cried, There was plenty to share. Hooray! Postman Kleinhunte danced a jig in his wool socks, and Mrs. DeLand wept while buttoning 5 warm coats. And Dr. Boss put down his cans and gave the window a glance at a quick, joy-filled kiss. Mama wrapped her arms around Katy. You have brought us a miracle, she said. No, replied Katy. Rosie did. All winter long, the boxes kept coming. All winter long, the townspeople stayed warm and well-fed. And all winter long, Katy wrote letters to her American friend, Rosie. Slowly, the snow melted, and the wind lost its bite. Each day, more and more tulips poked their green tips through the soil, blooming into a sea of pink and yellow, purple and red. One morning, Katy said, It would be nice to send a box to Rosie. Ja, said Mama, but what would you spend? Katy smiled as she told her. It is a good idea. Oh, ho, I like it, agreed Kleinhunte. We must do it, together. And so one sun-bright morning, Mr. Everett, the mailman, hurried down Elm Street. I have a box for Rosie, he announced. A box from Holland. Holland, exclaimed Rosie. What could it be? Eagerly, she ripped off the wrapping and pulled back the flight. So many, gasped Hermione. Then Rosie read the letter. Rosie, we hope these tulip bulbs from Ulst will brighten Mayfield's day. Plant them in the fall and wait for a surprise in the spring. Love, Katy.